Welcome everybody, it's Caz Craft Art here. I am the creator of this Felt Me kit, so you will be excited to get started as you have probably already scanned your tutorial and you are now getting eager. Now if you've opened it, yay for you. So it comes with coloured wool. This is a pumpkin coloured one. You get extra core wool for the makings of extras, and you get your wool here for your feet, which is you don't have to use this colour. I just put it in there as a standard because a lot of guinea pigs just have little pink feet. You get your scissors, which are curved. These might be too small for you. I'd advise not getting too big of a scissor. If you use big scissors, you tend to cut more. I've got a big set here that I sometimes use, which I got from Spotlight. They're pretty good. They're nice and sharp. Then you get your lovely little box of goodies. Your bottle is empty. The best glue to use is PVA glue or fabric glue. Your eyes, Easy Sew eyes, come with their own string. A little bit extra chocolate for the detailing of the nose, and your 3 felt needles. Now you probably only use 1, maybe 2. I give you 3 just in case one breaks. They will get a bit ganked up with glue, so it's best to wipe down or with a damp cloth just to make sure they don't get too dry of glue on them. I don't have wire in the actual design, so you shouldn't bump into anything other than the feet when we put them on. Now you also have our brush. Again, you can use your own brush. It's your mat, which is a little bit curved, but that's okay. Now it is thin. The needle will go through that, so it's best to have something a bit more sturdier underneath, even if you just use a bean bag or a heat pack, because I find that they're pretty sturdy like that. This is your core guinea pig. Now it isn't shaped. This one's not crazy shaped. It's a standard size. They're all unique. They've all got their own cuteness. His little neck is upwards a little bit more. I mean, you can kind of force it down if you're really not happy with it. I do tend to have a lot of a tilt in the core shape. I tend to start projects and not finish them, so I've decided to start, and now we will finish one together. To get started, I will open this up. I have glue pre-made for me, so I don't have to think too much. Now the other thing is you might need a hair straightener, which is something you can get your hands on, and or one of these, which is I've got this one out of plastic. You can make it out of cardboard. It's not too hard. It is just to be a little V so that the felt can go in there and I can felt between without hurting myself. That's for detail felting when we get into the ears. The other thing that we haven't actually talked about is the claws. Now the claws are made with thermal melt, so you boil the plastic in hot water or drop it in hot water rather, and it will go soft and you can shape it, and voila. Once it's dry, it's hard. Don't throw it in a fire. You'll be right. If you don't like the claws, don't stress about the shape too much, but if you don't like them, you can cut them off, but it does defeat the purpose of cuteness. Now with these, I'll just get in here. I like to poke where I'm going to put the eyes so that I can rough it out. If the eyes aren't really to my liking. Like this guinea pig here, she might need a little bit more work because she's a bit, and then yeah, I do tend to dribble on when I'm working, so you can ignore my dribble on and continue in silent mode. Because some of this is going to be boring, I will speed it all up. So now in this part here, because the ears are going to go in here. Now you can use a Nico / Texter / Sharpie, whatever you want to call them, and dot in where you want them. The other good thing is, of course, is you can literally poke from one side to the other, and that can show you where the eyes are. Because his head's tilted, I've just tilted him back. Might use the long one, or I just, you know, I do have a long needle. You will have to invest in a needle, because that is one things that I don't provide is an actual sewing needle. Now I have a doll's needle here for this very project. Now if I was to do her like this, she's pretty straight on. She's a bit crooked there. I might bring it back down. So you want to kind of keep it straight. As you can see, she's straight up there. If you're really worried, you can just dot it with Nico, which I tend to do anyway. It's up to you. I have no qualms with Nico on wool. Some people will freak out. Now I like to go a little bit deeper around the eye, because the eyes themselves have a bit of a knot to them, or a lump, and they will fall in there, so that you can get them like that. Now, it is your preference on how you sew. You do not have to follow me for the sewing. So as you can see, these have little yeah, I keep dropping them. They have little lips on there. I don't know if you can see that. It's like a hole. They're great. I call them easy sew. You get enough string, trust me, you get enough string. It was supposed to be white, but I figured nope, we'll use black so that A, people can see, and B, no dramas. Now I like to go through one of these guys when I come in, so I kind of go back into here and here. So as you can see, I don't really think too much about it. It is up to you. The eye doesn't matter if it's one way or the other. It doesn't matter if it's up or down or sideways. Now, just however you want to put the groove in there. Your guinea pig will be yours. And I like to go back through roughly where the other one is. Just hold that in so I don't lose it. Yeah, I'll get stuck because putting a harness on my poor little guinea pig. Okay, so if you pull it in and you go, hang on, it's not right, you might have to felt a little more, or in this case I'm just going to add felt to it. So I don't know if you can actually see that. It's a little bit of a wobble in there, but that's okay. So I like to just kind of pull it through half a dozen times. I will tie this end just because I can, and then I will put this one in here. Don't stress about the tail because you will probably cut it off, and I will come back into this guy. I like to go back twice through my clever little hole, because that's one reason I really like this easy loop. Me starting a project and finishing a project are two very different things, so I tend to get sidetracked easily, and I like to make lots of different projects, so I usually just go and set them up. Okay, so that's that one. Now if you want, you can wrap that just a little bit just to give it a bit more tightness. See if you can find the hole again, put it in there. I'll try and keep it in camera for you, so if I do apologize if it doesn't work. I have a habit of staring at things that are not my problem. Now this is the other part of the deal. So because we've come through this side, which is the side we're working on, you can grab your little tail, tie them off a couple of times. Don't stress too much, it's going to get covered with wool. If you really want to, you can put a bit of glue in there, but it won't matter. This is a test on these scissors. I wouldn't trust them. And then, okay, so that's that. And that glue is of no use. So now, in the sense, strings of no use now, and your sewing needle, which you can put away. Now, as you can see, they are reasonably straight. I've kind of kept them in the tilt of the head. As you can see, it's not very high up, not very low down. They are there. Now I will take my wool. You can use the white thing I will just use a bit of this core wool. Now this is core wool. This is what I use to make the babies with. It is a bit rougher, coarser, hence the core wool words. Now this will be your test of skill. I like to I know it doesn't look like I'm doing anything, but I am actually rolling it, believe it or not. And then yeah, you kind of get like a bit of a swizzle. We call them swatches. So you wrap it around the eyeball because you're gonna felt it in there. I just like to, it's kind of like packing it up, if you want to call it that. That way, your little guinea pig. Now this is your needle. Just grabbed any one of them. I didn't really stress about it. It's not a major thing for me. I do have a favorite needle, and I'm sure many of you felters out there. As I like to say, I'm a happy felter, not an expert felter. So shout out to all the experts who can do a wonderful job. I am a happy felter. I enjoy just doing it, but I do have my favorite felt needle, which is a 36 twist. When you get into felting a bit more, you might be a bit more savvy on the names, although I have started using a star, which I think is similar to a twist. So as you can see, this is just a little bit of padding. Just don't hit the actual eye, just go around it. Don't press too hard, don't press too close. I don't know, yeah, I think I'm pretty close to this. It's not too hard. It's like I say, it's not rocket science. Now you can put a little bit over here. It is a little bit trickier. I like to just mold it around so that I get that little bit of a lip thing happening on my guinea pig head. There we go. Now on to, yes, I just stabbed the eye, poor bugger. Now the eyes are, well, I like to call them large for a baby because babies have big eyes. It kind of gets swallowed up in the fur. I'm okay with that. So that is how we add our lovely little eye. Okay, so now we are going to do the claws. Now the claws are a little bit of time consuming, so what we'll do, we'll count out. I like to count them out and put them in their groups so that I can kind of work in their groups. So we do 4 claws for the front paw and 3 claws for the back claw. Now you can measure your little plastic things and work them together, which is fine. I don't really have a preference to it. And 3 and 4. So now, because it doesn't really matter, we just pick one up. Now I'm going to do pink just to stick with it. I'm going to call these rolling wool. So now these are, this here is enough wool to do your kit, trust me. It's probably almost too much here. I will do, so you split your wool into little kind of wisp. Now you probably will split it again and again and again. Now I just kind of keep it in, these are all small kind of groups. Now you want to keep the length, because the length is what you need, but you don't want it too thick, otherwise you're going to make your little claw very big, very beady. Now if you split it in half like that, it'll actually create less, which is probably a good thing to do. Now this is kind of where you get a bit glue and hair and everything wants to stick to you and you feel like stuck. Okay, what we're going to do, so pick up the lovely little glue thing. Now this is my glue bottle, it is bigger than yours, don't stress. So I've just got it here, it's not going to squirt for me. I'll probably have to put a pin in it because I haven't actually checked it, which makes sense. So I'll just put a pin in it. It's one thing I like about these little containers, just put a pin in it and hopefully that'll wake it all up if it comes out. Here we go. Now I just put a little bit, I cover a little bit of the nail and a little bit of the thing. Now this is a paper wire, not a fabric wire. Now I get, this is probably again, might be too much. Okay, so I'll split this in half again and then I'll run it through. So I hold about an inch. Oh goody, I got some on me. And then I wrap it around. I just hold it and then I wrap it. Now I'm going to wrap it up to the core, up to the claw. That way I can get the covering that I want. So you can kind of see that. And then I come back. Now it doesn't matter how far down you come, because it's going to get covered in more wool later. Now this might be, now the same thing applies. I add a bit of glue, I'll put it on here and here and here and here. You don't have to use a lot, I just like, I don't know, probably do, I cover it. Again, hold about half an inch, wrap it just gracefully or ungracefully, whichever way you feel. And try and do it smooth, not rolled. It's a fun project once you get into it. If you feel the need to go over it 3 times, in this case I probably will because it's not very long. Just remember to try and finish at the opposite end of the claw. And then just kind of pinch it together and give it a bit of a roll. That way all the fibers will stay down and you will get like, you might get a glue stain, but that's okay. It's, again, it's going to mostly be forgotten once we put it with the guinea pig. And yeah, just keep going as instructed. Wrap each wire as you go. You can, I used to do them as a group and, you know, have them already pre-made together, but I ended up making, it was actually harder. So it's easier for me to do this. I think I accidentally rubbed too much glue on my skin just then. If I am out of focus, I do apologize. Again, with the, it's up to you how you want it. If you feel that the pink is not the right shade for your guinea pig, by all means use the main coat color. Again, you're not going to use very much. So I like to kind of put the glue on there and wind it all down so that there's no furry bits, and you'll get used to it. Yeah, your first few will be a bit mungled. At the same time, just ignore them if they are, because you are going to keep, yeah, don't overthink it. Little bit of glue, hold down and wrap. Now it will fly back once you let it go. Pull it back tight again. Go over the claw by about one third, maybe 2. Don't go too far over because you want the claw to be a claw. In this case, I've gone like that. This will be a really good back claw, this one. The thinner they are, the less chubbier, which is, you don't want chubby claws. Now I've made one earlier, a couple of days ago, and he has very chubby claws, which is fine. You know, some guinea pigs have big feet, and being a baby, they probably really do have big feet. The other thing you will notice is the wisp, if it's too thick, you can actually stretch it out a little bit to try and keep it thin. I like to just start at that end and work my way to the claw, and then do a few wraps around that claw to lock it in place, and then come back to the, probably, no, you might call it a centimetre. Yeah, I'd call it a centimetre. You will get clumps of fur wool. You can have a little bin on the side to put them in so that you don't have to keep waddling them everywhere. You want to make sure everything is safe and secure. Okay, and in this case, my guinea pig is getting a little bit anorexic in that part. Just gonna add some more to it. It's looking a bit thin, that's all. There we go. That way. I don't feel so, yeah. Now you will get sticky fingers. This is all the before the felting. Alright, so I've come back and I'm just going to do the last one with you so that we can catch up on what you have done and any finalizations. So now I'm just doing the last wrap. Some of them have been really good and some have been really kind of annoying. Now you get better as you go. I mean, 14 wires later and I'm pretty sure I'm a pro. So, and that is how we do it. So you have leftover string, which is fine. Again, you can leave them set for the 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever you want. If you're not happy with them, like this one here is a bit up to you. You know, you can straighten them back out, do whatever you want. So you can put them in their groups that you were originally putting them in, or you've kept them already in their groups. So I like to kind of keep the truest, fattest ones. I like to make as a back paw, because there's 2 fat paws and 1 skinny paw, and then I usually use that one and that one and those 3. Okay, so that'll be my 3, and then with the 4, again, I'm not too fussy with it. I do have a habit of being overly fussy. You will go, yes, that's a great combination. Now we have all 3 and all 4, so these are my 4 claws. Just put them together in a big group and go, oh, look at that, they're little claws. They don't look like much right now, so take all your strings or felt tails if you've left any on. If you haven't, that's fine. You will definitely make some. Now what we're going to do, you can either do 2 options. You can twist the wires, which you can do. I don't mind doing that, but it's, yeah, sometimes it's tricky. But okay, I'll twist the wires this time. And now grab the excess felt and wrap it. Now you can put some glue. Put some glue here and here. So it doesn't matter if you use too much, because there's always more to put on. Now you're going to just put them together. This is the little front paw, believe it or not. Now I like to just wrap it up so you can see it like that. It look like a little tight group of, you know, wires, so to speak. Split them out and go, oh look, I got 4 little toes. Now you can shape them here. I like to just leave them aside for now because you're gonna try and match them. So again, grab your 4 things. If you didn't twist them, you can just wrap around them. It doesn't really matter. I just don't like twisting much. Yeah, so once you do that, grab the excess tails, put some glue down because you're gonna wrap over these wires. Now it is the paw that we want to try and create in here, so you want to kind of a little bit fat to a little bit skinny. Doesn't matter if you've run out of felt, you're going to add more anyway. So these are, and if you find you've got one like this one, I've got a little short one to a small one, the small ones go on the outside. It's the best way to look at it. You want your little claws to, you know, look like little claws. If you don't like the shape of your claws, like you go, oh hang on, they all look like they're, you know, not turning the way I want, you can put them in some boiling water and shape them. Mind you, if you put them in the border like this, they will all stick together, so it's advisable that you don't, because thermoplastic sticks to itself. The other option would be to leave them as one stick. So again, it's another one, so they're kind of cute, they're coming along. I get excited. This is my nervous part where I go, oh my god, my god, my god. So again, this is the back paw. The back paws are only 3 claws, believe it or not. The little the little paw is actually kind of 2 and then 1. The one of the claws sits down further, so it's up to you how you want it to look. I just kind of put 3 paws together because I'm not trying to be accurate. I just like to be, you know, scientifically close to. It's neither right nor wrong. Just, you know, whatever tickles your fancy, whatever gets you there. So in this case, my fat one is my lead claw. I always make it a little bit further up so that the I can put it in the middle because it's the fat claw, and then I put this little claw a little bit below so that the because it looks like that. So this one you're gonna have a little bit more leeway, so you want to twist them together, which is fine, and then you want to actually felt further up because the back paw is kind of long, like a rabbit's foot, or gets a long heel, a bit of a elongated heel, which is what you want. And you want it to go up. I like to go up a fair bit. You don't cut as much off on this one, but you will do it. So again, I like to add some oil. I keep going to say oil, but it's actually glue. Don't add oil. Don't add oil. It is a twisting process that I'm doing here. It twisted the way you wrapped it is the way to go. Don't worry, we're going to add more. It's going to get poofier. And then the last one here, which of course I've got no strings whatsoever. Okay, organize my fat one to the middle. And now because this is where left and right comes in. Okay, so this will be my left paw. So this one will be my right paw. Now I will do this and I will push that one down. So that way you've got, you can turn it over this way. So you've got those 2 there and those 2 there. so that you can actually see that the little claw goes on the inside or the outside. I can't remember which. I'll have to go look at the photo, but as long as you make them the opposite of what they are, and you'll be right. Line that up. Okay, I've got some excess cotton here, which is, you know, not ideal. Cotton, man, I am so bad with words today. Calling everything the wrong thing. So I will just wrap this around here just to lock them in place. The main goal is here is to have the paws. You want this to go here. It looks a bit messy, and it is a bit messy, and it feels messy and sticky, and I mean, you know, it does not make you feel comfortable at all. I don't like sticky things. Sticky things annoy me. So that is our paws. Now, because we're going to just adding some glue to smooth over these furry bits. If you're in doubt, I don't like because you want to kind of make these as less hairy as possible. So see how I've got some hairy bits here? It's probably going to irritate me. You can use wax. Okay, so we're back. I have officially gone and gotten these pliers now. It is little roundy ones, so I like to kind of go after the claw, and I bend down, and then I go back before that, and I bend up. It is a process that, you know, you want to kind of create that little bump, and then it's about here. You just want to kind of put a little paw print in, you know, that way. That is your forepaw. Now I'm going to add more felt, so I'll just get these set up. You can actually see the cuteness coming along, these little guys. You don't have to do them individually, I'm just doing them individually. And then I just kind of, that way, there's a bit of a kink. It's a bit of a, yeah, it's like a backwards kink. And then I just that up. Now the back paws are similar, but not. Okay, so we got all these kinks down, and then I go back down, and then up, and then down, and then up, and then down, and then up, so that they have like this little vulture look about them. As you can see, it's a vulture. I know my camera's not the greatest for this. Okay, so now because these are going to be about here, and that's where my heel ends. Now quite probably just to your first knuckle of your finger is your little length. I know it looks like I've gone to my second knuckle, but that's technically I was doing from there. If you wanted, you can just Google the awesome pictures and follow along as best you can. The other option is you don't actually have to bend these. I just like to. You can get away with not bending them. Now you try and match these two up the same. So now that you got that, we are going to add more felt. So again, we're just swishing them into swizzles. I forgot to put the glue away properly, so here we go. I just kind of do it on the bottom, and a little bit in the top. You don't have to go all the way up this one, but we are going to go over here, and again I go forward. This one is a little bit trickier because it's a little bit more bulkier. You pull it tighter so that you can definitely capture it all. Your little claws can be separated, and then you can go back. You should have enough to go back. Is the key to getting a really good heel. And then just go up the leg a little bit. This doesn't matter too much because you're going to actually put more felt, whether contrasting or core, into it. I just like to swish some glue on the outside so that it kind of, all those fibers stay down, and of course they glue in place. I get really obsessed with all these fibers staying down. As I was saying before, I do like using wool wax for this very purpose. Hides all these fibers. You can go through and cut them off. Some people felt them into the thing, but I don't like to felt into wire because it's just pointless. Again, it is a learned art. You will get better at it. So that one there is pretty smish for a little back pull. This one here, I'm going to do the same thing here. Put some wool, glue on the wall. My cat is trying to come in, just ignore it. I do. Now, if you go slower than I am, that's fine. This tutorial is for all groups, as I like to say. All expertise are where they are. Even the experts will be very ingenious about it. Now, if you're worried about how the heel looks, you can add some more wool to the heel. If you think it needs more. I usually just kind of wait till I put it on and then I'll add it. Again with the glue fibers. You don't have to do this with the glue. I just like to try and glue all those fibers down. It can create a bit of a hazard. So as you can see, these two, one's a little bit fatter than the other, so what I'll probably end up doing is adding a little bit more to the not fatter one. So you want to kind of make them even. It's hence glue. Me and glue are not friends. If you do add a little bit more, don't add too much, as they say. Just add a little bit in this case. I'm going to just put a little bit here. I'm going to felt the other way so that I get that down there. It doesn't matter too much if you can't get them perfectly the same thickness. Again, it's a preference thing. Like, as I say, the feet are kind of a forgotten project once they're on. Now these guys are pretty cute the way they are. Let's put some around the little paw to make it a little bit fatter. Wind it up to the tippy top that I want. I don't need to go up too high because, well, we're going to be putting more fur over it. Now this is where you can probably blend in some of your core colour, your chosen guinea pig colour, if you wanted. I don't really worry about it because it's not a major thing. Don't actually have any spare. Let's break into the facial one. Now this is probably too much. Okay. And then this one here. I like to just kind of put a dollop into the paw so you can see it's like quite a lot. And then it will squeeze into the rest of the paw. And then yeah, once you wrap it, you get used to it. If in doubt, cut off the hairy bits. Again, you don't have to use these scissors. I just like to take little bits at a time. Sometimes they're not the sharpest scissors for these projects, but I do like them. Little cubicle cutters. They do what I need. I like to take little bits at a time. Okay, so that is how we get legs. As you can see, we have little claw, big claw. Now, the little claw and the big claws. The little claws on the outside. I don't know if those are. I like to just shorten. You have to get pliers. Doesn't matter if they're big ones or little ones. So you probably don't want too much into your guinea pig, because when you look at your guinea pig, I mean that's a lot of wire that's going to go up there, because we only want about yay much sticking out and yay much going in. So I'll kind of give it about a third. Cut it about there. It probably won't be pretty. I'll probably have to use a scissors because I always end up having to use scissors. Okay, I'm going to use scissors. Yes, they're big. And then I get the front ones. Again, you only need about yay much. The back ones you might need a little bit more. I don't like to take too much off, even though. Alrighty, so now we're going to go on to adding the feet into your guinea pig. Now you probably could skip the feet until after you get part of the fur on. I like to get my feet in first. That way I can really see where I'm going. The only downside is you might put a bit too much pressure with the needle, with the wire. The wire might actually cause a bit of a friction, and you might be left with the concept. So little claw on the outside for those two, for those reminding us. You have extra, this is where this extra core is going to come in handy, and I would suggest getting a dowel, which I think is the weirdest name for a pokey. You can poke it in, or you could just get your scissors and cut it in, but the dowel does give a good feel. I do sometimes find I have to actually get in there with scissors to make it fit. I mean, there's only so much space a little bit of thing's gonna do. The good part about the dowel is it does get wider as it goes. Now the other option, if you have neither a dowel, you can felt into there and make that a bigger hole. There is nothing in the core to stop you from felting very deep. You test it with one of your claws. Now it doesn't matter with the fronts so much. The fronts are very left and right. You might have a preference to a left and right. I sometimes do, and I sometimes don't. So it's up to you. For some reason mine look both left, so it's subjective. You can put in more. I think I need a bigger scissors though. It's one of those tricky things. You kind of gotta, if you can hear me cutting it, that's because I am. And that way your little paw will fit right up in there. Now this is where you only want your paw is there and your wire is there, so his little leg sits like about that. So it's only a little bit, but it's enough. Now the trick is shove glue in there, literally into that hole. It is probably the only thing that will require so much glue. And then chuck your foot up in there. If you think the wire's too long, you can cut more, which, you know, you might flatten all your awesome bending ability there, but that's okay. So while that's in there, I'll just bring it down a little bit. If you need to, get your wire and make sure you've got your paw in the right spot so that it is there. So attaching them is a little bit of work. What I'm going to do is take a little bit of foam. You only need a little bit of felt. I'm going to wrap it under the foot and over the foot so that it can actually, and then that one can go there. I'm technically felting back into it. There is the wire, don't be afraid. You probably hear me hitting it. You're not going to hurt yourself. Oh, and you know, owies are expected. Always remember that. It is a very sharp needle. I have bled so much doing this project, so, and I'm also very much aware. So his little legs, you could probably say, probably very pale, but that's okay. I don't mind. If you want to make his shoulder a little bit better, this is where the extra shaping comes in sometimes. So you can do one leg at a time, or you can do all of them at once and then just add all the felting that you need. Because he stands on his little feet, you might want to move 1 foot back or 1 foot forward. In this case, he looks like he's got a foot back and a foot forward. It won't really matter too much. I mean, it looks like I've actually made this into a nice little groove already. Oh, look at that. Perfect. So this is a little bit better. So again, pop it out, pop in some glue. The glue kind of helps. I just feel safer with it. You don't have to put glue in there. I have done some without glue. I haven't had any dramas with the foot falling out, thankfully. The little critter is going to be my nemesis because it's just getting stuck on a ridge of core. Well, there we go. Now he's in. If in doubt, give him a poke about the rules. So again, just rip off a little bit, wrap it around so it tucks under his little leg, gives him a bit of a hook. I've done that one twice. And then fold him back down. If you wanted, you could make it. Yeah, you will have to go looking all angles. I am going into the critter. Now his chest and, in this case, his leg are very much there. The back legs are a little bit different. You don't have to actually lock them into it. I actually build core all over it. That way I can get the proper little bum shapes that I like, because, you know. And then we have 2 little paws. Now, it will be still wobbly. You can maneuver it if you need to. It will get that little bit harder as you go. Now, as you can see, he is coming along quite nicely. Now, what we can do is, in this case where I've got my claws, now, if you can imagine, his little leg, his back leg's going to be there. So if I was to go in, I might end up just, I don't know, he doesn't look like he needs to go in, because I actually like putting a little bit of wool Okay, so I break the wool up. I actually do a little bit of a fold. This is like, you know, yay much. You don't need too much. But, this is where I don't use glue because, you know, it's just an opened area. You can actually kind of line it up so that the feet run parallel or vertical, whatever they want to call those words. And then you can club him all in there. As you can see, you get that nice little knee bone happening. The idea of the guinea pig is not to be moved. He is just a stationary, or she, he, whichever one you want. They're unisex. They can just kind of, you just want them to be there. Now I am hitting the wire, don't think I'm not, but I'm not hitting it. You saw a bit of a buckle. If you feel that buckle, just pull back. Don't try and push through that buckle. That's the owie moments. Now see how this part here, he looks a bit anorexic. I call it anorexic. He needs a bit more of a poofy bit. So in this case, we will add some more. We'll pull that down a little bit. I'll wrap this under here so that we can get that little bit under there. As you can see, he's still quite maneuverable. I like that I can, you know, I'm going to break a needle, I know I am. Of course, that's fibre in your wool. Don't be afraid, just pull it out. It does come from a sheep farm, and you know, sheep are sheep. Now this is a little bit not what I want, but it'll do. It's the same kind of stuff, so I'll just kind of roll it over, roll it into it, roll it down, and then just I kind of knot it in there, and then I can shape it, because once the little guinea pig leg is in place, it works. Now you might get a guinea pig shape where the rump is a little bit more rounded, and you want to actually just do like we did with the front ones, where we put a hole and push it in. It's the same method, just you still got to be mindful of the little ankles, and in this case the wire. As you can tell, I didn't glue these ones. It's not a major thing. I don't worry about the glue on the back of the legs. The good news is it's coming along nicely. Now your needle may get blunt, especially when we move on to the fur. It will be gunky and what have you. And you got a little bit here. I'm just going to roll that up and wrap around his leg again, just to give him a bit more padding. Now, it doesn't matter if you don't use it all, you can always cut some off. The good thing with felt, it really does bulk back down, so what looks like a lot becomes very little. I don't think it matters too much because this little critter, guinea pig, is, yeah, I'm going to cut it because I don't like cutting it, but I am going to cut it, is all this will be hidden. You won't see it. It'll be completely hidden. This is the guinea pig that alrighty, so that is kind of how we do it. And now you can see we have ourselves achieved so much in a short amount of time. Your guinea pig now has 4 legs with claws. These are very durable, so they're not going to fall off or chip off. Because we've wrapped the wire, the felt, the wool, we have wrapped the wool over it. You can see now what I mean by the 3 toes on the outside, and 3 little toe, big toe, big toe. And then of course these ones, they will turn a little. They might end up, once you get more felt in there, they won't turn as much. It's not a major problem. Alrighty, let's go on to the next stage, shall we?